Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at whether you should save or summon on the latest banner to come to DBZ Dokkan battle in the form of the Super Dragon Ball Heroes banner. So now this is obviously a very big joint celebration, and I say very big but it's a hype celebration. For those of you who don't know, Dragon Ball Heroes is an arcade game that exists in the East Asia and Asian regions, and basically it features a whole lot of pretty interesting characters. There's an anime that goes along with it, but the banner always comes with some pretty exotic and pretty wild units like Super Saiyan 4 Full Power Limit Breaker Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Full Power Limit Breaker Vegeta. Goku and Vegeta are both pretty good. Goku is a crossover of full power category, 170% lead, with 30% extra for those who belong to the Dragon Ball Heroes category. He raises attack and defense for one turn, has 180% attack and defense, and has an additional 60% when performing a super attack. He has damage reduction of 30% when all allies attacking in a turn are full power or DB Heroes units, and he gives 40% defense to the rotation when he has an ally whose name includes Vegeta attacking in the same turn. He also has attack and defense of plus 40% and performs guaranteed critical after he receives his 7th attack in battle. Overall, his animations are decent. His link set is pretty good, and he's on a lot of categories, so he's a pretty exciting unit, I think, overall. And then we have Vegeta. Vegeta is also a pretty decent unit. To speak plainly, I think Vegeta is pretty good. Obviously, he doesn't have damage reduction. I think that puts a lot of players off. But he's got a pretty interesting skill set, more DPS orientated of the two, with his ability to build up critical chance, as well as his ability to have guaranteed to hit, which is a bit strange, but you'll see it come in handy in certain of the challenging events that are coming out. So before you judge it, wait and see how it performs. But yeah, basically he's a crossover or giant A power category lead, and he also covers those who are Dragon Ball Heroes category. I think their leader skills are pretty good, and I really like them. Vegeta is basically the same as Goku, just with gaining an additional defense at 80% and launching an additional super attack when there are super class or giant A power units, and he greatly raises defense because of the fact that he doesn't have those kind of built-in damage reduction. Overall, I think his animation is decent, but again, they're clean animations, but they're not, super spectacular animations. You're not getting crazy animation quality with these units. You're getting interesting animations and clean animations, but you're not getting like top tier, levels of animation. You're not getting, top levels, and that's because the source material is not necessarily the greatest material as well. We have Hearts, transforming unit, who unfortunately doesn't seem like he has his voice line on global, which is a little bit of a bummer considering the Japanese voice actor voices Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Hearts himself looks like an interesting unit, very dependent on having all extreme class crossover category allies, but a very good unit, providing a lot of support, a lot of kind of assistance through rotation. He's got guard, which is interesting, and then he obviously expands, becomes a bit more offensive when he transforms. Dragon Ball Heroes or Time Travelers lead, which is pretty good, and he covers crossover category with his 30%. This is great because it actually covers a lot of like the units that don't fall under Dragon Ball Heroes for the extreme side. So units like TEQ, Physical Mirror, all of those units can fall under here, Demigra. So it's actually pretty good when you look at Hearts overall. I think it's a pretty good kind of situation for him. Animations wise, I actually like his pre-transformation animation a lot more than his post-transformation. People have dubbed this attack the GameCube, and you can kind of see why. It's pretty interesting. I don't think it's bad, I just think it's a bit weird throughout the big orb. Then we have some interesting units. We have the 2 banner units. These units will only awaken at next year's festival, but they already are pretty good. Just because they don't Dokkan awaken, don't think that they're not good. They actually are distinctly pretty solid units, if I can speak honestly. metal or golden metal cooler is pretty good, with literally 30% damage reduction, which is pretty crazy. Really nice in terms of his like ability. 50% in total if you're on a full crossover team, which is pretty crazy. And then he also has the ability to fire off multiple super attacks, so pretty nice stuff from him. And then of course you also have the TEQ Janemba, who guards against all attacks, especially when there's two enemies. And yeah, he also looks pretty interesting. Him and these units, usually that Dokkan Awaken, much like the Robelu and much like the Supreme Kai Brainwashed, are pretty good units. And when they awaken, they become pretty nasty, pretty decent. So I think these two kits are pretty exciting for when they Dokkan Awaken next year. I think they're actually going to be really, really awesome. So those are all the new additions. The rest of the units are obviously awakenings for previous units. So Strength Bardock, SS for Gohan, Brainwashed Supreme Kai of Time, and Robelu. I did cover them in my preview, but all of them got Dokkan Awakenings and it all became pretty decent, I would say. Especially Gohan, a lot of people are excited about him. He becomes a very good tank for the Grade 8 power and the crossover team. So yeah, that's Superheroes banner. Guys, honestly speaking, you summon on Superhero banners if you want the Heroes units. There's a guaranteed featured SSR for every summon, which is very good, considering that the general pool of SSRs are all really solid. Whether they're all red zone worthy at 55%, we'll see when we review them, but it's one of the few times you're going to have a guaranteed featured unit on a banner. If you are not into heroes and you do not wish to collect heroes or run a heroes team, do not summon for them. That's the simple rule. For me, I like them, I'm going to summon on them, but that's the rule. If you don't like heroes, don't summon. Bye.